As parents, I think most of us share one common thing, that we want the best possible start for our children. Unfortunately, today's rates of chronic health conditions are affecting our children immensely. From allergies and asthma to ADHD and autism, is there anything that we can start now to support our children's development and health before they're even born? You can keep watching this video to find the biggest overlooked step when it comes to prenatal care. This information is specifically for expecting parents and those planning to conceive who want to take a proactive approach to their baby's health and development, particularly those concerned about the rising rates of developmental and chronic health challenges in children. We're going to explore the crucial role of the nervous system in your baby's development and how understanding this connection can help you make informed decisions about your pregnancy journey. You'll learn about the concept of the perfect storm and practical steps that you can take to support your baby's optimal development. Here at Generations Chiropractic, we have so many moms that come in with similar stories. They have fertility challenges or stressful pregnancies, then that can lead to inductions, epidurals, forceps, vacuum extractions, and C-sections. All of that surrounding birth can be really traumatic, not just to the mom, but also for baby, and start them on this roller coaster of what we call the perfect storm. That leads to things like colicky, digestion, sleep struggles, latch problems, and then left unaddressed, it can roll into even bigger things as they age, like ADHD, anxiety, depression, all of those things that we're so concerned about them developing. But what if we could help them out early on? It really is a very similar cascade of events that leads to what we call the perfect storm. So, how did we get here? Let's look at some prenatal statistics. The US is first in emergency care, but last in maternal and infant mortality rate. The United States spends over $50 billion on childbirth each year, and the US fertility clinic market was valued at $7.9 billion in 2022 and is projected to reach $16.8 billion in 2028. 25% of women are induced. 70 to 75% of women in the United States receive an epidural during labor. 1 in 3 American women undergo a C-section or a cesarean, despite the World Health Organization recommending a rate of 10 to 15% at most. About 1 in 7 women experience postpartum depression. Now, obviously, we can't control everything that happens during birth, and some scenarios really are emergencies. But what can we do as moms to help us and baby best adapt to any stressors during pregnancy and birth? Many think that hormones are the answer, and let's take a step back and talk about what controls every system, the nervous system. Let's talk about the autonomic nervous system. It has 2 different branches, the sympathetic nervous system, or the SNS. This is what activates fight or flight. It is used in times of stress or perceived danger. It's what prepares the body to take action, increases the heart rate, blood pressure, and muscle tension, getting you ready to fight or run. Then you have the parasympathetic nervous system, or the PNS, and this is your rest, regulate, and digest response. This PNS promotes relaxation, healing, and restoration. It slows the heart rate, enhances digestion, and supports immune function. In a healthy individual, both of these sides work together, allowing the body to respond appropriately to different situations. When the nervous system isn't in balance, it can lead to a chronic state of stress and nervous system dysregulation. Now, we mentioned how the perfect storm is developed through a cascade of events. Those events start causing this dysregulation between the ANS and the PNS. So remember that story that we mentioned earlier about moms and birth? This leads to that dysregulated nervous system, or what we call the perfect storm. So the nervous system dysregulation can lead to many hormonal imbalances as well, such as painful menstrual cycles, fertility struggles, irregularity, all of those things. When the body is stuck in a state of chronic stress with an overactive SNS and underactive PNS, it can disrupt the hormonal balance necessary for conception and healthy fetal development. So this is where the concept of the HPA, or the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, versus the HPG, the hypothalamic pituitary gonadal axis, comes into play. The HPA is activated in times of stress, releasing cortisol and other stress hormones that can interfere with reproductive function. The HPG, on the other hand, is responsible for the production of reproductive hormones like estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. When the body is in a state of chronic stress, the HPA axis can override the HPG axis, making it more difficult to conceive and maintain a healthy pregnancy. Both pathways are super important, and one isn't greater or better than the other, but our bodies have to know when the HPA axis is needed and when we should be in a rest and digest state. The problem really occurs when our bodies are stuck in fight or flight, when a bear isn't really chasing us, when nothing stressful is really happening. It's just our perceived stress in the environment. So how does the HPA and the HPG axis affect the baby during pregnancy? Great question. The umbilical cord serves not only as a pathway for nutrients and oxygen, but it also is a power cord that connects the mother's nervous system to the baby's. This means that the developing baby also feels any stress or emotional challenges experienced by the mother during pregnancy. So mom's nervous system is sending a blueprint through the umbilical cord for baby's nervous system to learn from. High levels of maternal stress can alter fetal neurodevelopment and lead to various health changes later on in life. When a mother experiences chronic stress, her sympathetic nervous system is constantly activated, and this stress is transmitted to the growing baby. If you think of it, when women were giving birth in fields and out in daily life, the baby needed to be pre-programmed for what life they were going into. When there were times of war or famine, the baby was already ready to handle that coming out, which is why our bodies do this. But we have to be aware of what our perceived stress is and the stressors coming in so that we don't program baby for our life, not necessarily what's happening in the environment. So in the first trimester of pregnancy, let's go through the major weeks and how the nervous system is developing. At week 3 in utero, the nervous system begins to form, so usually before you're even aware that you're really pregnant. Then weeks 5 to 8, we have major organs developing. Week 6 is when the sympathetic nerves, those fight or flight ones, and also involving social development, begin to form. Then we start the second trimester. In weeks 13 to 16, the bones and muscles develop. Week 17, the cerebellum, which controls motor coordination, begins to form. And then week 26 is when the vagus nerve myelination occurs, which means it can work faster. Those signals can go by faster. The vagus nerve we talk a lot about. That's your big PNS input. So how your brain can rest, digest, and regulate. We want to make sure that the vagus nerve is getting primed for resting and relaxing and regenerating. Now we hit the third trimester. Weeks 29 to 32 is when the immune system starts to develop. Weeks 33 to 36 is when rapid brain development occurs. Week 37 is the autonomic nervous system fully developing. Now, if we think about week 37, sometimes that's when people can start talking about getting inductions, having C-sections. If we're disrupting this vital period of time when the autonomic nervous system is fully developing, we can have some issues with the ANS being programmed in the baby. And then week 40 is when vagus nerve and immune systems are fully mature, which is when babies should normally be ready to go. So where do we come in, and how can I help you as a chiropractor? Some potential effects of subluxation and dysautonomia during pregnancy can include hormonal imbalances and fertility challenges, heightened stress response, difficulty relaxing, impaired blood flow to the placenta, suboptimal fetal positioning like breech, transverse, and increased risk of complications during labor and delivery. Here are some tools for growing healthy babies. Obviously, we can't control everything, but we can set our bodies up for the most educated, resilient, and adaptable possibilities to anything that is thrown our way. During preconception and pregnancy, we have the power to create an environment that supports baby's development from the very beginning. One of the most important steps you can take is to educate yourself and prepare for the journey ahead. You can start by prioritizing preconception care for both partners, meaning care before you're getting pregnant. Optimize your physical, mental, and emotional health through proper nutrition, exercise, stress management, and nervous system support. By laying a strong foundation before conception, you can increase your chances of a healthy pregnancy and a thriving baby. And men, don't forget yourselves. Don't think that you're out of this just because you don't have to grow the baby. Your input is what helps build the placenta and helps baby before the nutrition is coming from mom. So make sure both mom and dad are trying to live healthy lifestyles at least 60 days before trying to get pregnant. Now, surround yourself with supportive birth teams and environments. Choose a healthcare providers who align with your values and priorities and who will empower you to make informed decisions about your care. If you already start with somebody and you realize further down the line, this isn't the right provider for me, fire them, get a new one. You can totally do that. Consider working with a midwife, a doula, pelvic floor PT, or an IBCLC, which helps with lactation and breastfeeding, along with your prenatal chiropractor, as well as other birth professionals who can provide guidance and advocacy throughout the process. Now that we've talked through all of these amazing things, I hope that you can truly see the impact that we make on our growing babies. How cool is it that by focusing on our nervous system development, we have the ability to affect our growing baby's development even before they're conceived. The foundation of nervous system health starts with neurologically focused chiropractic care, which can offer specific benefits such as improved nervous system function for both mom and baby, reduced stress, enhanced immune function, and optimal fetal positioning. Let's start by seeing what you and your partner's nervous system looks like. At Generations Chiropractic, we test through technology called Neurological INSiGHT Scans. They are non-invasive, non-radiating, and show us how your nervous system is functioning and where it may need some help. From there, since all nervous systems are unique, you will receive a customized care plan that is tailored to exactly what your nervous system needs to heal and be ready to grow that healthy baby or just be the healthiest self that you can be. So don't just wait until after baby arrives to think about their neurological health. Contact us today to learn more about how we can support you and giving your baby the strongest possible foundation to start their lives. Visit the link in our bio for more information and share this video with a friend who needs it.